Many Friends by Charles Lamb. Unfortunate is the lot of that man who can look round about the wide world and exclaim with truth, I have no friend. Do you know any such lonely sufferer? For mercy's sake send him to me. I can afford him plenty. He shall have them good cheap. I have enough and to spare. Truly society is the balm of human life, but you may take a surfeit from sweetest odours administered to satiety. Hear my case, dear Variorum, and pity me. I am an elderly gentleman, not old, a sort of middle-aged gentleman and a half, with a tolerable larder, cellar, and sea, and a most unfortunately easy temper for the callous front of impertinence to try conclusions on. My daytimes are entirely engrossed by the business of a public office, where I am anything but alone from 9 till 5. I have 40 fellow clerks about me during those hours, and though the human face be divine, I protest that so many human faces seen every day do very much diminish the homage I am willing to pay to that divinity. It fares with these divine resemblances as with a polytheism. Multiply the object and you infallibly enfeeble the adoration. What a piece of work is man! How excellent in faculty, and see. But a great many men together, a hot huddle of rational creatures. Hamlet himself would have lowered his contemplation a peg or two in my situation. Tidet me harum quotidianarum formarum. I go home every day to PG 318 my late dinner, absolutely famished and face-sick. I am sometimes fortunate enough to go off unaccompanied. The relief is restorative like sleep, but far oftener, alas, some one of my fellows who lives my way, as they call it, does me the sociality of walking with me. He sees me to the door, and now I figure to myself a snug fireside, comfortable meal, a respiration from the burthen of society, and the blessedness of a single knife and fork. I sit down to my solitary mutton, happy as Adam when a bachelor. I have not swallowed a mouthful before a startling ring announces the visit of a friend. Oh, for an everlasting muffle upon that appalling instrument of torture. A knock makes me nervous, but a ring is a positive fillip to all the sour passions of my nature, and yet such is my effeminacy of temperament, I neither tie up the one nor dumbfound the other. But these accursed friends or fiends that torture me thus, they come in with a full consciousness of their being unwelcome, with a sort of grin of triumph over your weakness. My soul sickens within when they enter. I can scarcely articulate a how d'ye. My digestive powers fail. I have enough to do to maintain them in any healthiness when alone. Eating is a solitary function, you may drink in company. Accordingly the bottle soon succeeds, and such is my infirmity that the reluctance soon subsides before it. The visitor becomes agreeable. I find a great deal that is good in him. Wonder I should have felt such aversion on his first entrance. We get chatty, conversable, insensibly comes midnight, and I am dismissed to the cold bed of celibacy, the only place, alas, where I am suffered to be alone, with the reflection that another day has gone over my head without the possibility of enjoying my own free thoughts in solitude, even for a solitary moment. Oh, for a lodge in some vast wilderness, the den of those 7 sleepers, conditionally the other 6 were away, a Crusoe solitude. What most disturbs me is, that my chief annoyers are mostly young men. Young men, let them think as they please, are no company singly for a gentleman of my years. They do mighty well in a mixed society, and where there are females to take them off, as it were. But to have the load of one of them to one's own self for successive hours' conversation is unendurable. There was my old friend Captain Beecham. He died some PG 319 6 years since, bequeathing to my friendship 3 stout young men his sons and 7 girls, the tallest in the land. Pleasant, excellent young women they were, and for their sakes I did and could endure much. But they were too tall. I am superstitious in that respect, and think that to a just friendship, something like proportion in stature as well as mind is desirable. Now I am 5 feet and a trifle more. Each of these young women rose to 6 and one exceeded by 2 inches. The brothers are proportionably taller. I have sometimes taken the altitude of this friendship, and on a modest computation I may be said to have known at one time a whole furlong of Beechams. But the young women are married off and dispersed among the provinces. The brothers are left. Nothing is more distasteful than these relics and pairings of past friendships, unmeaning records of agreeable hours flown. There are 3 of them. If they hunted in triples or even couples it was something, but by a refinement of persecution they contrived to come singly, and so spread themselves out into 3 evenings' molestation in a week. Nothing is so distasteful as the sight of their long legs, couched for continuance upon my fender. They have been mates of Indiamen, and one of them in particular has a story of a shark swallowing a boy in the Bay of Calcutta. I wish the shark had swallowed him. Nothing can be more useless than their conversation to me, unless it is mine to them. We have no ideas, save of eating and drinking in common. The shark story has been told till it cannot elicit a spark of attention, but it goes on just as usual. When I try to introduce a point of literature or common life, the mates gape at me. When I fill a glass, they fill one too. Here is sympathy. And for this poor correspondency of having a gift of swallowing and retaining liquor in common with my fellow creatures, I am to be tied up to an ungenial intimacy, abhorrent from every sentiment and every sympathy besides. But I cannot break the bond. They are sons of my old friend. Lepus.